American people, strength of the American worker, strength of the American family. We've seen grit, determination, optimism, hope. We took the virus head on, and now we're getting back to a normal life. The second shift, the dance lessons, and Friday night football. But some want to tear us down. They don't believe in America's promise. Their ideas would kill jobs and drag down our economy. We'll never give up on America. Not now, not ever. Because now is a time to renew our faith, restore our safety, rebuild our economy to keep winning. We've faced our toughest challenge, and we are overcoming just like we always do. Because we believe in America.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, Patriots. Welcome back to the afternoon share with me. Figured I'd go live and give a little update. There's so much going on. We don't have any clear answers yet. Still some good victories, and yet lots of puzzling puzzling situations going on. So I figured I'd come on and just explain what I've been looking at, and it seems to me that there is just rampant fraud everywhere, from the Sharpie fraud in Arizona to exactly what's going on in Nevada with the counts being paused all over the place, and North Carolina being paused, and Georgia not being completely clear in their announcement of victory. We looked at the Secretary of State in Michigan, and that official website had Donald Trump ahead by like 200,000 votes. And yet at the same time, it's declared for Michigan or for Biden at the moment. So there's a lot of confusing things happening all over the place. And I know there was a victory in Pennsylvania. The lawyers won in court for Trump, and they were able to stop voting until there's appropriate overall watching the observers. So got a few different videos, some information to share with you guys, and we'll go from there. And just overall, we just need to know that we are in a good place right now, and the pathway to 270 looks very clear. If Donald Trump takes North Carolina, Pennsylvania, obviously Georgia, and then either Arizona or Nevada, he's up. The only way that Biden can take the election in general is if he takes Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Arizona. So we'll see. It's we're days away. We keep getting all sorts of confusing information, but we also need to stay strong, Patriots. We need to stay in our hearts and understand that this is the path that we're supposed to face. How else are we going to expose all of the corruption, the voter manipulation? How are we going to continue to bring all that darkness to light without making everybody look at it? You know, it's as we keep saying, some people can't be told the truth; they need to be shown. And we're seeing it right now, and we're seeing how much the corruption of the mainstream media and all of the big tech companies, the social media companies, have been manipulating the information and completely controlling the narrative. So as we go forward, I guarantee we're going to see some big changes. It's remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder revolution. It's hopefully a lot more of a peaceful journey. But I still hope that the corrupt get exposed, and we can move forward with this country and reclaim its true independence, bring some faith back to the rule of governance and get it in a place where we can establish a new and more efficient and effective and safe election process. This is probably the most corrupt election we've ever seen, and it's been on the surface. It's the most apparent thing. Yeah, it's just in our faces. Never been so much so. But let's take a look at a couple different things. I'll bring up some slides that I want to share with you. There's been all sorts of different issues around the country. And one thing that I'll bring up is this is retweeted from Warrior 333 or Pat Pen 2. Comes from, let's take a peek at this. So a couple things that have popped up is the 4 a.m. dump of Wisconsin of 65,000 ballots, 100% for Biden, which we know that is mathematically impossible. 4 a.m. dump Michigan, 138,499 votes, 100% for Biden. Again, impossible. Arizona poll workers forcing voters to use Sharpies, thereby invalidating their ballots. Trump leading in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And then they stopped counting before the voter fraud ferry visits overnight. We've seen all sorts of evidence of ballots being just shown up in the middle of the night and no one having a clue where it's coming from. We've seen Michigan clerk discovers that the overall total votes counted does not actually match the rolls. So got a lot of different things here. But I think let's tune in and listen to Richard Gurnell, see what he has to say for us.
Look, the reality is that transparency is not political. Ballots are not automatically legal votes until they're checked. We are not being allowed to check. The Harry Reid machine recklessly threw ballots into the mail, and now we cannot check. Whether or not there are non-residents, which we have evidence, publicly available evidence, that you all in the media should be also looking at. It's publicly available information that non-residents have voted. There is a 30-day residency requirement in the state of Nevada. If you haven't been in the state for 30 days, it is illegal to vote. Reporters have a responsibility. The fact is, we are filing this federal lawsuit to protect legal voters. It is unacceptable in this country to have illegal votes counted, and that is what's happening in the state of Nevada. We've asked Clark County for answers. They have no answers. They continue to count illegal votes. That is unacceptable, and it's giving legal people a sense that the system is corrupt. We have to have a system where legal votes are cast.
More attempts to delegitimize the election, more attempts to bring people back to feeling that this is a fraud, take away from the power of the electorate. They're defrauding all of us. They're taking away our votes. They're taking away our voices, and it's completely unacceptable and needs to be prosecuted.
What the Harry Reid machine has done is throw out recklessly ballots, and now they don't want us to check those ballots, and we are seeing discrepancies all over. We are asking Clark County to give us answers. All of your questions about the details are legitimate questions, and they should be asked of Clark County, because the Clark County officials are silent. They are not giving us any answers, and they continue to count these illegal votes. Ballots versus legal votes. That's what we're talking about. It is unacceptable in this country.
The presidency is literally in the breach.
Listen, you're here to take in information, okay? We'll do your job. It's pretty easy. Do a Google search.
The president. Thanks.
Well, there we go. Thanks, Richard Grenell, telling it like it is. Do your job. You're here to take in information. And these media are just disgusting, huh? Woo! Okay. Well, I got a couple more things for you. Probably going to try to keep it short today. But Project Veritas has been very active, pulling up a few different things. But first I want to go to this video. This comes from originally posted by Philly Godfather. And it's a video from registered Democrat. He was a poll watcher in Philadelphia. Let's check him out.
My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat in the city of Philadelphia. Today, I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I am overseeing the ballot counters. I will let you know the corruption that is going on here. They will not allow us within 30 to 100 feet to supervise the ballots being counted. This is a coup against the President of the United States of America, and I want to call out the Mayor of Philadelphia, James Kenney, the Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who tweeted that there's no way Donald Trump can win President of the United States of America, and also the District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. I can't believe what I'm seeing right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This has to do with our democracy, and I will tell you, there is corruption at the highest level in the city of Philadelphia.
There we go. Phew. Got complete evidence. Just some of the most corrupt situations we've ever seen. Pam Bondi, she spoke today in Philadelphia. We got a good, solid team of lawyers on the ground and good representatives. They're coming out strong, and they're not letting back. Our president's a fighter, and his team is an amazing fighter, and they're not going to let up. Their whole group of pit bulls. Sorry, I'll take this down a little bit.
Our votes are being suppressed. We cannot count the votes properly. What's happening is they have moved the barriers up to 6 feet, but they took away the ballot machines that were in the front row and moved them to the back of the building. It's unbelievable what they're trying to do to our votes that have been illegally cast, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican.
Sorry about that. Volume's very. So you hear what she's saying. She's saying that they gave them a special space that the poll watchers could actually be, and then he moved the ballot boxes and the machines all the way to the back of the building. It seems like what she's saying. See if we can listen in. Hopefully the volume's better.
Your legal votes must be tabulated, and they're not doing that. They will not let us see anything. They're trying to drown us out now where we can't be heard. We're not going away. And now we're going to take further remedy to fix this. There's a woman who was in there that Corey's going to talk to you about who represented the city with your tax dollars, and he's going to tell you what she's doing. But we are not going to stand for this. We're not going anywhere. They are defying a court order by a judge, and this is not the last of this.
by the name of Michelle Hangley. And what she said was she would determine if the court order was valid or not. And I'll be happy to release the video of her. They have 8 attorneys fighting us to see these ballots inside. The court order is in effect. They will not give us access, and the sheriff has decided not to come down here to enforce that court order. The sheriff of your county will not come down and enforce a court order. What is going on in this city? What are you hiding? Open up the doors, let us in, let us 6 feet away so that we can have a free and fair election. Whether you voted for Donald Trump or you voted for Joe Biden, everybody has a right to witness what's transpiring here. This makes it look like a kangaroo court. We deserve better, and we're not leaving until we witness every single vote that transpires.
So pit bulls are on the streets, and we see how much corruption and how much they're hiding. They're just not letting down. They're a bunch of true soldiers. Hopefully, we can continue to bring all the darkness to light. I have faith in the process, and faith and trust that Donald Trump has already won this election. And there's no way that all of their fraud will not be exposed. Just another reminder, I know I showed this probably the last 2 days, but this is one of the biggest things to remember. Straight out of the horse's mouth, he told us he was going to steal this election. He's told us he built the biggest fraud campaign in history. Just listen.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our administration, the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
He told us, straight out told us right there. And we don't want to listen. You don't believe what they're telling us right off the bat. It's all in the open. They've been telling us from the beginning. Donald Trump has been telling us in the beginning that what their plan was. He knew all along. And yet we continue to disbelieve what is actually happening. On this journey, these patriots who've been on this journey, you've been proven over and over and over what has been actually happening, what we're facing. So for patriots to lose faith now, for people to not believe in the level of corruption that they're watching and try to start all of a sudden following the mainstream media, just get out of here. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like, you know what you believe, you see what you see with your own eyes, and the only messages that to trust right now is straight out of our president. The only people that we can trust, the mainstream media, we know is completely hijacked. The other big tech platforms are completely hijacked, and we need to make sure we stay completely in line with the understanding that the message coming from POTUS is truth. The White House is sending the true messages through. So we know we've already seen the information about the color revolutions. If you joined me at all, if not, check it out. That's what we're in the middle of. It's pretty damn clear. Last night's show, I talked about that a little bit and covered a couple different episodes. But I got this little video from Brooklyn, New York. This was tweeted by CW 2.0 at Twitter. It's the polling location, and they have a huge GOP turnout. And for some reason, during election day, they were telling people that the machines are broken and told to leave their ballots with poll workers. When they are back up, they'll be scanned. So let's listen into this for a second.
We will ballots in the emergency ballot box when they're back.
What's the guarantee?
When they're back up, we will scan the ballots. And I mean, and that's something that has to happen. We don't just, set them to the side or, but they all happen.
This machine is broken, emergency box, and this machine is locked, just like that.
Ballots in the emergency ballot box.
So from what I'm hearing, there's issues like that all over New York, outside of Democratic majority areas. So we continue to see more and more of that fraud continue to come through. And, more videos keep coming out every minute. Voter fraud all over this country, from Michigan to Texas to New York to Wisconsin. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before. Let's take a look. Coming up here, we've got a couple other videos of some fraud that have been through, but first let's listen to Tom Fitton, Newsmax, discussing the counting ballot situation. This is here.
Look, I'm not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. And he's generally right. This case is going to the Supreme Court. It's a process, obviously. But in the end, the Supreme Court's going to decide either whether to take up the case in total or just to ignore it. But either way, it's the final say in this court process. I mean, look, I just go back to some basic points. Statutory federal law says the elections were supposed to happen yesterday. There's nothing normal about multiple states, let alone one state, counting ballots and votes for days afterwards. And frankly, when you have states in the middle of counting, like what was happening in Georgia, happening in Pennsylvania, stop counting, call a timeout, especially when the candidate of the insurgent candidate, in this case, President Trump, is winning against the political establishment in the counties that called the timeout. That's an indication of fraud. You don't need to worry about whether machines are broken.
Look, I think there's a difference between voting and counting, though. That there's a big difference.
When you stop counting improperly for no good reason in the middle of an election, that ought to be concerning. That, to me, is evidence of fraud. And counting ballots after the election necessarily undermines confidence in the integrity of the process. So the question I have is, in Pennsylvania legally, can they be counting ballots that arrive after Election Day? I think generally counting ballots that even after Election Day are problematic, but certainly ballots that weren't there in the polls when the polls closed, the idea that they would be counted, in my view, is an abomination unto the law.
Well, and you've called for the DOJ to investigate this. Why are you calling specifically on the DOJ, not another department or by state?
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be protecting our civil rights. If your vote is stolen as a result of improper counting and ballots being counted that shouldn't have been counted, illicit votes being counted, that's a civil rights issue. And the Justice Department, nominally run by the president, needs to step up, in my view, and defend the rule of law on ballots. I mean, what now is going on? My playing political analyst here. The president better hope that he maintains his lead in Pennsylvania and is able to pull it out in Arizona. Right. I don't see the litigation as currently constructed as saving him.
Well, I totally. Yeah. See, the thing that was interesting is I don't know why last night, to your point, they stopped counting in Philadelphia, right? Why didn't the campaign have lawyers on the ground waking up judges saying, hey, this needs to continue, impounding voting machines? I think they lost valuable hours last night. I do think there's a difference. I mean, look, the law in each state determines when and how they can count, whether it's, they have to have a postmark in or whatever. But last night, Tom, I think that they lost significant, important time.
Yeah, that was a kind of a window of secrecy, frankly, in Philadelphia. You don't know, were they monitoring what was going on in that downtime? Same thing in Georgia. I don't know what was happening during the time they stopped or weren't counting ballots as they should have. This is really problematic, and of course, all of this was foreseeable, and this was planned. This chaos and uncertainty by the left. When you mail out 100 million ballots and ballot applications to people who haven't asked for them, you're guaranteeing chaos on election day. And the fact that they were only required in certain states to count ballots when they came in, which makes sense in terms of ballot integrity, election integrity, is no excuse for not selecting the president as they were supposed to yesterday. It's my view the president won yesterday. When you look, the states were required to tell us who won yesterday. Not today, not tomorrow, not 3 days from now.
Right.
And he was winning yesterday, and that should have been the end of it.
Look, I do think that it depends. I mean, every state has a law that determines whether or not they accept, and the Constitution is clear on that the state said it. I think the question is, did they follow their own state law? And that's the big difference. But, Tom,
I disagree with you briefly here. Federal law is we select our president on election day. States can't override that because they decide to count ballots that come in. Can a state count ballots that come in December?
No, but I'm not a lawyer. You're not. I know that.
I'm not either, but I read the law, and it doesn't make any sense that there's deadlines set up, that we have 50 deadlines in the country as to when our elections take place. No, there's one deadline.
I know what Jenna Ellis from the campaign has made very clear, which is she has told me and told us on the show that the Constitution says that state legislatures in the states set those rules. So all I'm telling you is the Trump campaign has even conceded that fact that the states need to follow. Whether or not they follow their own law, I think, is another story. But, Tom, I know you've been extreme.
That is true in Pennsylvania. The law doesn't allow what's going on in Pennsylvania.
All right.
That's a judge-imposed change in the law that allows these counting irregularities that we're opposing now.
There we go. There's some good information coming from Newsmax. Newsmax seems to be the go-to information for me right now. It's the one that the only thing that I've been able to trust. OAN is also awesome, but stay away from all the other mainstream news networks. There's nothing but misinformation happening. It's pretty disturbing right now. Got a few last things for you. I'm going to try to finish out with something entertaining, funny, because in these times we need some humor. But let's take a listen to what's happening in Philadelphia. This is shortly after the Supreme Court actually ruled that they need to allow equal observers into being the count. This was a video taking when the order was handed down, and we'll listen to what the head of the precinct says in response.
You guys had 8 attorneys. I think it was 8 attorneys entering their appearance on this. I don't understand why 8 attorneys need to evaluate this order. I did it all by myself. It says that no later than 10:30 today, you're to follow the election code, and my people, my clients, representatives, are to be within 6 feet of the process.
We have read the order, and we are complying with the order, and we will discuss it with you in a bit. Can you explain 6 feet? What would the compliance look like?
They're declining the order from the court.
You guys had 8 attorneys. I think it was 8 attorneys entering their appearance on this. I don't understand why 8 attorneys need to evaluate this order. I did it all by myself. It says that no later than 10:30 today, you're to follow the election code, and my people, my clients, representatives, are to be within 6 feet of the process.
We have read the order, and we are complying with the order, and we will discuss it with you in a bit.
So there we go. Defying the orders of the court. It's absolutely just terrible. This is a kangaroo court situation. We literally have lost complete control of this entire election, and we're now in a situation where I got to have faith in the DOJ and those patriots who have come together to defend the rights of the American people and the integrity of this election process. So I've got a little something from Ron Paul here.
And this is Detroit. I mean, talk about taking extraordinary measures. Let's look at this next clip if we can. Detroit, absentee ballot counting chaos as workers block the windows and bar observers. Let's do the next one. This is also Detroit. Same story. Windows covered at ballot counting center. Why do they need to cover the windows if all they're doing is sitting there counting the votes? And there's actually, I don't have the clip, but I saw a clip on Twitter earlier.
What are you hiding?
Donald Trump Jr. reposted it. They showed a guy counting ballots. There was a
This
video
is a
of
public
video of
election.
him counting ballots.
Public counting
And
process.
They showed him, he pointed his middle finger at one, bunched it up and threw it in the trash. Whatever the case, if it was Biden or Trump, that's certainly not appropriate behavior for someone counting the ballots. And here's one other thing I'll throw at you, Dr. Paul. This is Barack Obama's speechwriter. He tweeted this yesterday. Let's take a look at this. Barack Obama's speechwriter when he was president. Anyone in Georgia? Team Joe needs people to go door to door, helping voters fix their mail-in ballots so they count. Sign up. And look at the bottom, November 4th. The election is over. What on earth are you doing going door to door helping voters fix their ballots for? And this isn't just some guy out of the street. This is Barack Obama's former speechwriter. But I'm going to talk a little bit about Arizona here because Arizona is key. It's expected to go Trump. It should have gone Trump already. The outstanding 400,000 ballots are in areas that are, I think, 60 to 70% Trump voters in the past, and he has about 50, 60, 70,000 votes to make up. But what happened on election night? We talked about it before, but Fox News calling Arizona when virtually all of the Trump voters had not been counted yet is what set off this whole chain of events. We were watching it. Everything was proceeding normal, and then all of a sudden, Fox switches to this guy in the back room saying, we're going to call Arizona for Biden. And even the Fox hosts were, really? This is crazy.
Just keeps getting deeper. It's a wild journey that we're on right now, but we all need to stay vigilant, share the information far and wide, make sure that everybody we know, everybody that you trust and understand, just in general understands that the mainstream narrative and what you're seeing on the social media is just not accurate. Encourage people to do the work for themselves, look into the information, do the research, because we've blindly for too long as an American population grown into this complacency, saying that everything will be taken care of for us instead of being active and actually stepping up and doing anything to receive, to earn our liberty, to our freedom. And, there's an old saying that freedom doesn't come free. And until we start to change this narrative, so we start to share information, until we start to stand up and fight for our freedoms, it's just going to continue to be taken away from us. That's how it's gotten to us to where we are. We're in a situation where people have stopped paying attention, stopped caring about what's happening in their world. And it's not until they start to lose their rights They start to lose their freedom. They start to lose all that they know that is right with life, that they actually like take a glance at things. They actually start to perk their ears up and say, why is that happening? We're in a situation right now where the people of this country are having their freedoms stolen from them. And we're seeing it more and more. Here on Hawaii, there's a $5,000 ticket that can be given out by our governor and Ige and Mayor Victorino. And if you're not wearing your mask right, if you're not wearing a proper mask, they can give you a $5,000 fine anywhere in public outside of your house. We're still in a position of 2-week quarantines here in Hawaii. Tourists can come, but they have to be tested beforehand, and those who don't, 2-week quarantines. Mandatory testing, 2-week quarantines, mandatory masks, fines if you're not wearing it properly, to the point where police are calling businesses and threatening them because they've heard reports that they weren't wearing masks properly, or they had employees not wearing masks, or that they were being not requiring patrons to wear masks. So what we're watching here is just full on tyranny. This COVID cover, this COVID scam demic has been a cover to impose control. It's been a psychological operation to take away the power from the people and continue to steal your liberties. It's a new movie out. I'm going to try to, I'll see if I can place it. It's called The Great Reset. It just came out last week. It explains a lot like the Archbishop of the letter that I read the other day. Explains the Great Reset and what the agenda is. And if you think this was about virus, sadly mistaken. This was the plan all along. We knew it. POTUS told us. Our patriot intelligent insider has been telling us. And if anyone whose eyes are open and has been paying any attention, we knew this was coming. And it's no time to be soft. It's no time to play around like life as usual. This is the time to fight for your freedoms. This is the time to stand up, to share the message, to not let mainstream narrative and social media control what you think or the agenda narrative from the people around you. This is serious. This is not a joke. It's not a test. If you value your freedoms, if you value what this country stands for, if you value liberty, if you value the future of your children, it's time to open your eyes now. All right. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look over here. We've got Project Veritas has a couple different things came out. Just share that real quick before I get into some lighter stuff. Trying not to get too serious, too intense right now, but it's intense times. But y'all got to keep faith. Understand that that we got this. We got this. I have.
Yeah, where can I find a hint?
Wow. All right. Let me control the volume on that a little better. But what I was saying is, God wins in this situation. And if you think that our president and his team didn't know this was coming, then I think you've been blind, and you need to wake up, and you haven't been paying attention to who this man really is. So I think we've been prepared. I think the digital soldiers have been put into place for a purpose, and controlling the narrative, controlling the understanding of the information is the most important thing right now. So let's listen to some stuff that Project Veritas has just came out with recently.
Handful of them.
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful.
Oh,
what's your unit number?
You're gonna get a handful?
What's your unit number?
322. You're gonna get a handful?
I'll probably I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't doing it.
And you'll put some in there for me.
I might, man.
All right, brother.
See what I can do.
A postal worker in Nevada offered our undercover journalist a handful of ballots that was sent to the wrong address. This is another example of USPS voter fraud.
Project Veritas have posted a story in the last couple of hours that alleges some cases of voter fraud in Michigan. Have a look and make up your own mind.
So 8 p.m. Election Day, November 3rd, the Court of Appeals ruled ballots have to be received by that time. And what were you told?
To separate them today so they can mark them with yesterday's date.
Some of us got some extra ballots and stuff. How many of those you getting lately? People with extra ballots are undeliverable or whatever.
It's been quite a few.
Quite a few?
You know, people are sending based off their old address. So, yeah, it's been quite a few.
Well, if it wasn't me, though, hypothetically, though, it could be done.
I can't say nothing because I don't know. I'm just a delivery.
All right. But there's a lot of them out there like that, though, right?
Yeah, there are.
Where's the most of them at then? If we were hypothetically...
A handful?
Yeah, where can I find a handful of them?
I don't know, man. Hey, I'm almost finished with the boxes today.
All right, brother.
Hey, not a problem, man. I'm gonna see if I can get you some like a little nice little handful.
Oh,
what's your unit number?
You're gonna get a handful?
What's your unit number?
322. You're gonna get a handful?
I'll probably I don't know, maybe. If it's in there, I ain't doing it.
And you'll put some in there for me?
I might, man.
All right, brother.
See what I can do.
There we go. Project Veritas continue to bring out the truth. They're doing the work super hard. They've been out there just putting out truth nonstop. And came out with another little message for us. Something good to share. James O'Keefe, true patriot. Thankful for all of his hard work and putting his life on the line.
To November 3rd, even though they're accepted. Huge update. We just got contacted by the Office of the Inspector General, who is aware of this video inside the post office in Michigan, and the whistleblower who's discussing, showing how the ballots were backdated to November 3rd, even though they're accepted November 4th. Huge update. The Inspector General tells us they're aware of this. It falls under their jurisdiction. They're assessing whether to investigate. This whistleblower in Michigan is a patriot and a hero. He doesn't fear retaliation. He cares more about his country and what they're doing illegally there in Michigan, counting the votes illegally, than he cares about his own well-being and safety. And there's many more like him. And we want you guys to come forward, the honest post office workers, the honest poll workers, whoever you are, wherever you are. You're the ones who can make the difference. You can't rely upon anyone else. Contact us. VeritasTips@protonmail.com. Be brave. Do something.
Be brave and do something. Thank you for being brave, patriot. Thanks for standing up for your country, standing up for what's right in this world. It's been a long, hard battle across the boards, and we're only who knows how long away from actually having an answer of what's about to go down. Who knows how far we are away from hearing some truths. I think that we're about to see a breakthrough. Today's a big day, the 5th of November. Just remind everybody, digital soldiers, digital warriors, persist. Let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. That's a good reminder for us all. I've been struggling myself trying to keep all of this together and not to get too wrapped up in the fear of it all. I've seen nothing but fear this year. If there's any time to have the courage to face the fear and be pushed into it, this is the time right now. This is the time to continue to stand up in strength and find that peace within inside you that you didn't even know existed. There are some unrest, some violence throughout the country, and just if you're anywhere near those, stay away. You're not going to do any good. You're just going to get yourself hurt or someone else hurt with you. Stay far away from the cities. It doesn't do any good for you to fight. This is a peaceful mission, and we need to fight with our minds, with our communications. We need to fight the narrative and not fight on the streets. There's paid military and National Guard and police forces to be able to keep peace. And these folks marching in the streets is not something that's going to do us any good. There's a couple Proud Boys in Washington, D.C. The other night that were stabbed while trying to stop someone from being stabbed by a few BLM protesters. And they're currently in the hospital, and sending prayers out to them. There's some major injuries, including a stabbing in the neck, a stabbing in the kidney. And I don't know why they were there. I don't know why they were in Washington, D.C. outside on the streets at night, but it's not going to do anybody any good. We need to fight in the courtrooms. We need to fight in the poll of popular opinion. We need to fight on the mainstream narrative, and we need to flip it. We need to get people understanding what is actually happening and what their freedoms that are being taken away from them. And this is a scene in Denver, Colorado yesterday. Absolutely despicable. No borders, no walls, no USA at all. No USA at all. Calling for death to America on the streets of America in downtown Denver. Absolutely gross. Can't even believe that this has come to this in America. Where are all the patriots? Where are those good people who need to fight, raise up, and change this message? How can we continue to allow this to happen? It's incredibly disturbing. We got a couple little videos to close out with, and just hopefully bring some humor. That's my mission anyway. Let's see if it's actually working on the humor side of things. See if I can find this one video. So just as a reminder of who our fearless president is fighting against here in this election, who the family that we know who they are. They've been brought to light, and his illustrious son. It's just a little comedy for us.
Who you trying to mess with, Esse? Don't you know who my daddy is?
That Hunter Biden was trading on his father's office to make $50,000 a month from the Ukrainians. In October, he admitted it.
The fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah, no.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
Son of Joe Biden, and boy, it's tough. I put the crack in the pipe and smoke it up. I like every day I'm tweaking, laptop leaking, pictures of me on a cocaine bender. Quick Pro Joe got me working in the Ukraine gas company directing. The only thing I know about gas, you can huff it. Now I got $50,000 a month in my pocket. For the directors, charisma, I'm smashing. My dead brother's widow, impregnate a stripper. But nothing is better than crack cocaine when you're rich and famous in the Ukraine. Cocaine in the Ukraine. Cocaine in Ukraine. Cocaine in the Ukraine. Cocaine straight to the brain. Cocaine in the Ukraine. Cocaine in Ukraine. Cocaine in the Ukraine. Cocaine straight to the brain.
Sideshow Bob, hilarious. Little comedy never hurt. It's exactly what we need. And there's a good picture of Amy Coney Barrett holding up that picture. What a true hero and patriot that we got there. I'm glad she's on the Supreme Court, and we know that as time goes forward in this level of election, if it does hit the Supreme Court, having someone like her sitting on the Supreme Court for us is a great great insurance policy, and we're very lucky that she was able to be brought through, and that she made it to it was actually confirmed, made it to the Supreme Court. So got a couple last little clips here that I just want to share. This is from this comes from Pennsylvania, outside Pennsylvania. I believe this is in Philly, actually.
Judge in this state issued a ruling that the Board of Elections has summarily dismissed. They believe they're above the law. So because they would not follow the law of the state of Pennsylvania, we have filed for federal relief. Let's go. That is what we're doing because we will not let the people of Pennsylvania go without having an election observer for every single ballot.
So the rally calls, the team is right on the scene, and we're gonna start to see some federal investigations come through. And there's one last little video, and then we'll call it a day.
To a post office branch in Traverse. The U.S. Postal Service sent inspectors to a post office branch in Traverse City after concerns of possible fraud. The Office of the Inspector General had federal investigators at the branch on Barlow Street today. It comes after a group known as Project Veritas posted a video which claims to identify a postal supervisor allegedly instructing employees to take absentee ballots received on Wednesday and backdate them with a postmark for Tuesday. Now, under Michigan law, it would be irrelevant to the results, even if this turns out to be true, because ballots had to be in the hands of clerks by Tuesday night at 8 p.m. But the Postal Service is still investigating the claims.
So there we go. Got all sorts of fronts. Everything's starting to come together, and hopefully we'll begin to start to see some major shifts, some clarity within the next 24 hours. And if I see anything big, if I have some chance to come online and share some more information, I will do that. But like, follow, click whatever it is on what app you're watching from. Keep an eye on me. You can keep my links will be in the comments below. And thanks for joining me. Keep the faith and showing each other some love, support, spread this message, and let's try to take back this country. No, let me scratch that. We are taking back this country, and everything's going to be brought to light. Have faith, patriots. Much love. Aloha.